Hi, my name's Jesus Hernandez. I'm here in the west side at Admiral Park. I'm here with Brian Ulaszewski.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, so tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're so interested in the west side.
Well, I am an urban designer by profession, doing architecture, planning, and everything in between. And recognize that to some degree the West Side has been overlooked by my profession, both through the city but also as professional advocates. And so there are a lot of issues that the West Side faces that are unique to the city. Specifically environmental justice as it relates to the port and the infrastructure that supports it, as well as refineries and everything else that pollutes the air and our view and our traffic.
So what are some of the changes that you would like to be seen or that you would like to see be made to the west side?
Well, there's a few things, specifically trying to resolve some of the land use conflicts that sort of take place. What we have are existing rail yards that are proposing to be expanded, literally abutting neighborhoods and schools. We have a lot of transportation impacts from the trains and trucks that carry our cargo from the ports of LA and Long Beach through to the country. I mean, basically 40% of the shipping containers that come into the nation come through those ports and go by our schools, by our homes, by our businesses. And if we can mitigate those impacts, as well as try to create some separation between those who are emitting the pollution and those who are receiving it, both the students and the residents that are on the west side, I think that's the desired goal.
So why should the rest of the city be concerned about what goes on in West Long Beach?
Well, West Long Beach is sort of the canary in the coal mine. I mean, they're the ones that feel the impacts of port pollution first and foremost, and the effects to the public health, to the economic environment are are actually terrible indicators of the potential damage that our goods movement have on the population, and they're the most that feel it. But other parts of Long Beach, air pollution doesn't stop at a city council boundary or a city boundary, and so residents of the rest of the city have maybe to a lesser degree feel the impacts of port pollution. Although Central and North feel a lot of the pollutions that come along the 710 freeway, and so if we can find solutions to mitigate or even solve the problems, there's an opportunity to sort of expand upon it to other parts of the city and even across the country.
So what are the challenges to making some of those changes happen?
Well, the thing is that we've had a dominant voice as far as the goods movement. Port of Long Beach, Port of LA are always talking about needing to expand and make more efficient the operations of the port. And there has been, in the past, very little consideration of those impacts on the surrounding community. Just recently, one of the new rail yards that are being proposed, actually just, I'd say, a mile that way, had, standing room only at the other recreation center, Silverado. I think people are paying attention to what's going on around them. I mean, I think there's, to some degree, I think some of those that are involved in goods movement would be happy to have a population that was disinterested, but I think there's certainly more interest in what's going on and more activism in trying to respond to it.
So what are some of the things that the residents could do about these things?
Well, I mean, first off, be educated about what is currently impacting their community, as well as what is out there being proposed that might impact their community, and also, start thinking about how they can respond to it. We've been sort of concentrating on which is very important to respond to these projects, but also what else? What would we like to see as an alternative instead of those projects, or in conjunction with them, and see if there is something that's better than now.
Can you give us some examples of that?
Well, a good example is the terminal on Freeway itself. Right now it carries trucks from the port of LA and Long Beach past Webster and Hudson and numerous parks and playgrounds, and that actually doesn't need to be there. The country invested in the Alameda corridor and are proposing to invest in the 710 freeway, and basically creating a redundancy of the Terminal Island Freeway. And north of Pacific Coast Highway, the portion that's most impacting residents is actually owned by the city. So that last mile that goes from Pacific Coast Highway to Willow actually doesn't need to be there. It carries less traffic than some of our neighborhood streets. Most of them are trucks, but they have an entirely viable alternative with the Alameda Corridor just less than a mile away. And since it's a city-owned asset, what can happen, we've got a truck there right now. What can happen is we can turn it into more of a neighborhood street that doesn't carry trucks, but instead integrates into the neighborhood street network and actually improve traffic flow, because then not all our traffic is shifted on, is left on Santa Fe, but on top of that, there's about 20 to 30 acres of publicly owned land that it still would remain that can be then open space, much needed open space for this community. I mean, if you have 30 acres of open new park space on the west side, that nearly, I'd say that probably increases the available park space by about 50%. And you know, instead of having something that's blighting the community, you can have a community asset.
Okay, thank you very much, Brian.
Well, thank you for your time.